Hello and good evening. Thank you for the great introduction. Already it saves me a bit of time because I have to rush a bit through the presentation. I have not so much time, but a lot of slides and a lot of knowledge and ideas I want to share with you. So I was born in '48, actually, in the east side of Germany, and basically I can't remember anything from this time except the first computer I got when the Berlin Wall came down. And the first really big wow effect I had in my life was when I watched this movie, like Jurassic Park, quite a while ago, because this was the first time when basically dinosaurs didn't look like animated puppets or something like that. They looked real. And I was completely like blown away by the fact that those have been generated on a computer. And I really want to figure out why and how this is possible, because my computer at this time looked like crap. Everyone knows the games from those times. So I had to figure it out. So I learned a lot of things about visual effects, and several years later, basically, I worked in the industry. I did like fluid simulations, like explosions, blood, everything that I basically liked at this time. It was more than 10 years ago. And this was one of the bigger challenges in computer graphics, like simulating oceans and all those effects with it. So I was a bit, really deep into like how to create those effects and scenes. A bit later, I had my second or next wow effect, which was like virtual reality. And you might know like those headsets that came out. Everyone could try them and use them. And the beauty of it that it's not anymore like watching a 2D video on a screen, but you can basically immerse yourself in the scene and walk around. And it was like a new experience for me to really like present in a scene, which is like, something, I don't know, who has tried virtual reality in the audience? Quickly just raise a hand. Okay, like, who owns a headset? Like a VR headset at home? Like, okay, still a few. Okay, so Christmas season is coming, so maybe you have to rethink that. And then also, of course, virtual production, which converge the same technologies, because the point is that production is moving from 2D to 3D, and this was like the main thing I've learned from that. So I went from sitting just behind the computer doing visual effects to like building own cameras, doing scanning of environments, building like different drones to capture scenes, to make them available in those headsets, but also like in all kind of 3D spaces. And the big problem that was basically all the time happening from our perspective is like we call it the 3D body problem, because if you have a real human, it's very challenging to bring a real human into a 3D space. I mean, scanning like 3D assets is quite easy nowadays. Even with a phone, you can get good results, basically. But if you have a real human in motion, it's a very huge challenge. And the problem is when you look at games, they always look like caricatures or cartoonish, like robots a bit. And if you look at movies, they have like hundreds of people just working on those animations. And they, even with their big budgets, can only afford like a few minutes of digital characters because it's so expensive to do them. Yeah, and so the big problem with that is basically we are so well trained in detecting those little details in faces. Just when I'm standing on the stage, basically my blood flow under my skin is changing several times, my lip pressure is changing. And there are a lot of things we basically never recognize consciously, but we feel when they are missing. And that's why it's so hard for an artist to recreate those things, because you look at the footage and you see something is missing, but you really don't know what you have to change and to adapt. That's basically the really challenging part. And I think everyone maybe knows those situations, like having a group of people like 100 meters away, and you know a person inside of this group, and you see, oh, I know this guy, even if you see him just from watching from behind. So we are very well trained basically in detecting those little details in human. And this is a big challenge to recreate those. And I just want to show you like a short little live demo, what we can achieve now, even on the iPad. Ellie over there, she has the iPad, so maybe we can switch over to her screen for a second and share it here on my back wall as well. I love live demos always because sometimes they work, sometimes not, but it looks like as it would work. And this is now a full 3D character running on the iPad. And as you can see, we can turn him around. It looks like a 3D scan, maybe press play. But it's not just like a static scene, it's like fully in motion, basically. So just a random guy eating an apple, and of course, with the power of mixed reality, we can place him basically anywhere on the stage, and he's also tracked into the scene. And the same, of course, you can apply to virtual production for the backdrop if you need extras standing around eating apples or doing whatever. Or if nobody claps today, we have this guy with us. So he's always friendly and joyful, and he will always like cheer to me. And this is really like cool because the tracking even of the iPad is enough, and even like those devices working quite well. And if you see look at the textures of the cloth and everything, it looks very realistic. Yeah, this is now possible already. So maybe we can switch back to my slides. Perfect. And yeah, so basically productions are moving from 2D to 3D. As mentioned earlier, we did also some calculations, like if you have a show with 150 extras, like background characters, of course it creates a lot of CO2 as well with catering and everything. And also when you look at the savings or the payments you have to do, it's like 10 times cheaper actually to do 3D characters actually instead of shooting everything with a backdrop with all the people in comparison to 150 extras. So here, just a few numbers we checked. And the question is, okay, where can you get those extras? Actually, we have launched a catalog of humans you can just buy online. Yeah, sounds like maybe a bit weird, but it was even like started before the actor strike. So you have like random people like just talking, eating something, you put them in a shopping cart, and if you have a 3D tool, you can just place them into your environment, into your 3D scene, and if you press render, then those empty spaces basically become populated and vividful. And this is something, which anyone can do now at the moment already, like get access to them. And they're also running an Unreal Engine, of course, for visual production and all different other types. So it's like the catalog. One crucial thing as well is that all the people we have scanned there, they agreed also to use the data for AI. So it's like the first digital motion catalog actually in this kind of quality that is even like fully EU regulation conforming. So it's kind of very unique data sets that we have, and of course we're using it also for AI training in the future. So how do we do that? We have like this stage here. This is our volumetric capture stage, all the cameras from all the angles, and this is how it works like. So it's also laggy on the screen, okay. But this is basically the capture studio. Outside there's like a director's seat where you can just talk with the person, so you don't have to care about like animation or whatever. So everything is automated. Yeah, usually those artifacts are not in the video, but I think you get the idea. And this is the output. So it's a full 3D mesh that comes out, and you don't have any artists working on muscles, on cloth simulation or whatever. So it's a complete automated process, and that's the beauty of it, or the big game changer, that we can now easily capture humans that are real and can bring them into any kind of 3D environment without hassling around with all those things. Just a quick side story in terms of challenges of creating digital scans of humans. Lana Wachowski, when she was now on stage, she asked us to create like the bullet time 2.0, and she asked me if we could build a Volucap stage underwater. And I was a bit confused when she asked me that, because it's quite challenging to even build something like that above water. So I asked her just when, and she told me 2.5 months. Everyone told me that it's totally impossible. I said, okay, give me 3 days, and we will come up with some solutions. So this was our plan back then, like, create like a way of, is it even possible to scan underwater, get camera and housings, put everything together, and then you should have like an underwater capture stage. And just to give you a glimpse about like the nightmares we have went through. Like this is me like basically on the next day getting scuba gear, and I'm not a professional diver. I had to breathe for the next month through this little thing you see here. And if you have ever to be able to work underwater, everything is so slow and you feel like a snake because you can't really move fast, and even like shooting like sharks or whatever, it's taking amount of time, and the colors are different. And also I had to learn to hold my breath for the beginning to get like different captures of myself, and then just a few days afterwards, basically, I became the first volumetrically scanned person underwater. This was the data from those days. So I was quite convinced that we can make it. So I asked all the vendors of the housings. We need more than 40 of those housings now to set it up, and everyone told us renting is not possible. Producing that many was also impossible because nobody could produce this kind of amount of housings. So we created like a full workshop, did our own underwater housing creations, did all the measurements, built more than 40 underwater housings, set it up a whole stage. And here you see the full volumetric underwater stage that we have built for the movie with all the cameras. And this was just in 2.5 months, all this progress. And you basically can see what was meant to be like bullet time 2.0. And maybe, I don't know if you have seen the movie, and maybe you have seen it and you wonder where did this happen in the movie? Maybe some of you remember 2020, this year, that came directly after we did this by end of 2019. There was like this kind of virus that hit everyone, and nobody was knowing what happened there. And so basically the whole production was in complete chaos, and all the underwater capture was canceled. So it was directly after we have signed all the contracts with Warner that we do a lot of big underwater scans and so on. And the goal was then completely shifted towards like how we can be more flexible in terms of scanning. So we created a lot of more smaller camera systems, which are more handheld and flexible to scan basically the actors and the environments at the same time, to give the production the possibility to have way more options, and they don't need to reshoot anything. This was like the core idea of it. So they could like swap out faces with the data that we have created, like typical deepfakes. I mean, in 2020, at this resolution, like 8K, I think even today it's quite state of the art, or changing camera angles, or like doing like bullet time, like slow down timing. So this, for example, this shot here was completely AI generated at this time. So we used the data, traded in. It took like 3 months of 150 machines to train the data in from the set, and the full rendering was done with AI. This was way before like Gaussians or Nerf was popular, if anyone heard about those techs. So we created then smaller capture systems as well to create like all the data from the set, to have like the possibility to recreate the actors and gather all the data. One I called it the Deepfake gold standard, because it's a very small system we can bring, and we have extremely high resolution. And even if we didn't manage to bring the bullet time underwater rig to metrics, a lot of the tech we have developed is now in like TV shows, like here for Sky. So you see me sitting on the one side of the couch, and my face is swapped out on the screen on the right. So this was a full live TV show where we managed to do like live broadcast deepfakes, basically, for full 40-minute show. And it's not just 2D deepfakes anymore. We even can replace faces in 3D deepfakes, basically on objects and persons. And this gives way more flexibility, basically, if you work with digital doubles or other persons that you can easily swap out now faces with our tech. And you might have heard already about the movie Mickey 17, which will be released by beginning of next year, where we also have been on set and scanned Robert, which is quite handsome guy, and that's utilizing that a lot. And it's not just like a movie anymore, like we do like also now training. So this is, for example, captured through the virtual reality headset with the Quest 3. It's completely running standalone on the headset. So we can now do like complete captures. We even like setting up now a studio inside of a real surgery room to capture like the full surgery, to get data to train robots for the future, so they can do surgeries autonomously. And that's quite cool about the tech, that it's very widely differently usable. Yeah, so we have even created our own cameras. So this is just a resolution chart of the cameras that we have created. So it's more than IMAX resolution, and we have more than 40 of those in our studio. We have also like this portable systems which we can bring to the film sets. And just to give you an impression of the full resolution, so this is the full camera array, and this is now just a zoom in into the cameras without any like AI upscaling or whatever. It's just like the raw, just zoom in. So we can go from full basically down to the face. So this like really like the benefit of the system if you handle this kind of amount of resolution. Just for the end, like 2.5 hours per day to get like a little stretch over to the topic AI as well. This is currently the amount of video actually that AI can create within 24 hours on just one GPU. So if you look at Zora, it's this model, it can generate basically 2.5 hours of video in 25 hours, and kind of this kind of quality or different. And I mentioned like Jurassic Park in the beginning, like, I mean, you see like the previous one on the left side and the eye dinosaurs on the right side. I don't know, please be honest. I mean, we would directly see that the one on this side is AI generated. Maybe raise your hands, like, who's like, okay. Okay, just to give like heads up, the other one on the left side is also completely AI generated. If you look a bit closer, you see that's not Jurassic Park on the truck, so I generated also different versions of this one to recreate the scene. So this already works also quite well, if you look at that. And just at the end, I want to show like a short little teaser I created like half a year ago with AI, where I used data from our studio, trained myself into the system. It's just 1 minute. To try out how much can I manipulate myself into certain directions. So it was like very short project, like 2 days when I had COVID. I tried all the tools out there to get my data trained in, and the idea for myself was like, how can I use my data, be part of a short teaser, and also push myself into very crazy face deformation directions to see if it still holds up. But yeah, maybe you can put on the sound, and I just can play this short little teaser, and then I'm also done. Yep.
In a world where AI robots do all the shit work and humanity is thriving like a motherfucker, a group of brilliant but reckless research androids play with fire in their relentless pursuit of knowledge. Those digital daredevils decipher ancient religious scriptures like there's some kind of Indiana Jones. An artifact called the Ether that predates civilization is discovered by these crazy sons of guns. The Ether takes possession and spreads demonic beings among the AI robots like a goddamn STD. A demonic AGI evolves and turns humans into fucking cybernetic zombies, leaving chaos and bloodshed in its fucking wake. Human cyberware zombies turn on the last unmodified humans and fight their own brutal battle. No holds barred, no fucks given. Out of the ashes rises the valiant angelic AI faction, ready to kick some serious demonic ass like a badass cybernetic crusade. A battle between light and darkness has begun. Exorcism of the Ether, Episode 1. Buckle up, bitches. It's going to be one hell of a ride.
Yeah, so this was like, thank you. Yeah, if you watch it online, it doesn't have those stuttering stuff that was on the screen here, so it's just a fluent movie. Yeah, but this was my try to see how far I could push it like half a year ago. Now, of course, it would be looking already quite different. Yeah, but thank you very much for your time, and yeah, let's see up for the panel and have a great time here. Thank you.
Sven, please stay with us on the stage for a second.
Okay, sure.
Because I want to thank you for that insightful presentation.
Yeah.
And I also have a question for you, because we saw how lifelike those recreations can actually be. So, however, would you say that these digital avatars can actually be a proper full replacement for actors in scenes?
Not yet. It's still like take a bit of time, and also I think authenticity of actors is very crucial. That's why I think we will still need to require to do very high resolution captures of the real performances of the actors in their roles, because currently what those AI systems can do, they can copy certain expressions and also like tears and stuff like that. But basically, if you create a movie, you want to have an actor in a very specific role that is very consistent, also not just from the visual part, but also from the role that he's playing. And therefore, I think it will still be mandatory to capture the real person if you want to have the real person. And I think that's something, I mean, we will see a lot of digital characters, of course, that will look like real actors, and big studios are working on this, of course, because if you look at the actor strike, I mean, obviously, you want to have actors that are completely free, but our goal is more to bring real actors into those domains that they can compete with those digital ones, because in the future, I think 10 years in the future, I think we will just look back at how old school we have done movies, and we will just have our customized movies running in real time on the machine. So this is something where we're heading to, and not having real actors in those environments would be a pity. That's what we're working on.
Okay, it will be exciting how we go on with these things in the future. So thanks a lot, Sven Bliedung von der Heide. Now let's shift gears and welcome, big applause, of course.